It's the Infinite Podcast. Go tell your friends. It's the Infinite Podcast. My God, it never ends. It's the Infinite Podcast with Rob and Cork the Q.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Project Infinite Podcast, the podcast covering the infinite and ever-expanding multiverse of fandom for movies, comics, TV shows, video games. We got you covered. I'm Rob. I'm here, as always, with Court. And Court, it's a Shazam week.
Yep. I love Captain Marvel.
Hey, man.
Sorry.
Come on.
My bad.
But yeah, we're going to talk about Shazam! Fury of the Gods, the sequel to the surprise, I guess, hit of 2019.
I can't believe that movie came out in 2019. I feel like it came out in like 2017.
Yeah, everything before the pandemic is like feels very distanced from everything else. So that's probably why it feels that way. But man, we have some pretty interesting thoughts about this movie. And of course, with any DC movie, there comes drama off the screen, not just the drama on the screen, but the drama off the screen. So we'll definitely talk about that. But before that, we do have some news, starting with, unfortunately, Lance Riddick died at the age of 60. So obviously known for so many different things, most notably probably The Wire, as Cedric Daniels in The Wire. People may know him as Albert Wesker in the latest iteration of Resident Evil on Netflix. And gamers obviously know him from Destiny. He was Commander Zavala. And the Horizon series, he played Silence, a really great character in that game. And man, and obviously John Wick also. Kind of just crappy timing that John Wick 4 is about to come out, and then Lance Riddick passed away. So I know Keanu Reeves kind of spoke on Lance Riddick and kind of dedicating this next iteration of John Wick to him. So just as always with these things, just really just a bummer.
Yep. I mean, he was 60 years old, so
yeah, short
life. I don't think anybody knows what happened still, but regardless, like you said, these always stink. They always suck to talk about because these people were, we're watching them evolve and kind of do what they love. I think that's something that I don't think we've ever said. It's these people are doing what they love to do, living this. We don't know what the life they're living is, but to us, they're dedicating their lives essentially to entertain us, and that's saying something that they're kind of giving their all to this craft. And I think it sucks when it's like this. Somebody that's he was 60, but it's just that's not a full life. That wasn't his whole full life that he lived. So just super unfortunate.
Yeah, and just someone who, by all accounts, and just anything you've ever seen him in, and if you've ever heard him in interviews, very passionate about literally everything he did, especially the video game stuff. He was very just very thrilled with being Commander Zavala in Destiny. As with most kind of live service games, the community kind of got together and kind of paid tribute to his character and to him. So really cool that he was able to kind of touchstone all these different types of media too. It's not particularly common with actors where they can have notable roles in film and TV, but also gaming, like kind of touch every corner of media, which is cool. So yeah, just super crappy. 60, like you said, still too young. So man, terrible. But transitioning out of that and into kind of, I guess, a dovetail of our Oscar recap last week. So the Everything Everywhere All at Once directing team is going to be tackling an episode of John Watts' Skeleton Crew for Star Wars. They were contacted before Everything Everywhere All at Once even came out. Oh, wow. So John Watts clearly, wanted them on board for at least one episode of this. So I think it's cool. I think, obviously with that movie kind of cleaning up at the Oscars, them winning Best Directors, it's kind of that movie is, and them in particular, are kind of in the zeitgeist right now. So makes sense that they're kind of taking this step into more mainstream stuff. we'll see what happens. I think it's super cool.
Yeah, I think the main thing that you said is he got them before, so he's getting them off of, you know, their music video success that obviously they were pretty notable, like these kind of weird, you know, short films and music videos, and then, you know, most famously before that was Swiss Army Man. So John Watts I have a feeling he's going to be very particular with his directing crew for this show.
Much like
probably wants
other,
a very
like the Mandalorian.
Exactly. He's probably going to want like something that's kind of. This show might be a little weird, which, like, in a good way, like a little weird outside the box. I think is going to be something nice and fresh for Star Wars as well, too, especially in kind of this age. I know at some point later this year, we'll probably do we're probably going to do a Star Wars episode for Jedi Survivor. So, yeah, I think this is big time for them just to get a directing duo like that. And, you know, I just encourage everybody to, you know, we talk about this all the time, listen to directors talk instead of, you know, reviewers, not us, you gotta listen to us, but, you know, these reviewers that just go out of their way to, you know, crap on movies and stuff, I'd always take a director interview. Like, I'd like to listen to what they say and listen to what the Daniels talk about. They're super passionate. They're, like I said, they're like these weird, cool guys that just have fun and, like, let their minds run rampant. And what better place to do that than within the Star Wars universe? So I think I personally think it's a match made in heaven. So I want to see maybe if this is like an audition tape for them to get something bigger within the universe or outside. Like, there's, you know, different fandoms, ones that are infants and ones that are, you know, the grandfathers like the MCU. So we'll see. Yeah,
and really cool that they're not just getting their foot into the Star Wars universe, but also with this project that doesn't have a ton of like expectation or kind of like that fandom toxicity that comes with, say, the Obi-Wan show, for example, or stuff that's really connected to the deep lore that people really have a fondness for when it comes to Star Wars. And I think the Mandalorian's even approaching that kind of level now. So it's kind of cool that they're able to get their foot in, like you said, this kind of like oddball kind of project. And I'm definitely looking forward to the show. It's got a great cast.
Yeah, good. Cast is nice. I think it's got a lot of potential to be a surprise. I think that's exactly where that show could live.
And then speaking of surprise hits, so The Last of Us wrapped up last week. We talked about that. And obviously season 2 has been greenlit, and the promotion is kind of out in full force, I guess you could say already. Neil Druckmann kind of posing a teaser image on Twitter. Mm-hmm. Bella Ramsey has talked about when she expects to start filming. Obviously, Craig Mazin has confirmed that Bella Ramsey is going to return. I don't think anyone's surprised to hear that. And it just feels like the show is kind of getting going. Yep. You know what I mean? And, you know, Craig Mazin and Neil Druckmann have said that they expect The Last of Us Part 2 to span multiple seasons. Mm-hmm. I don't find that terribly surprising, as we kind of talked about last week. My biggest issue with Part 2 was not in the story at all. It was the pacing. So I think I've said it before that Part 2 actually leans itself more to television than I think it does even to the game that it's based on. Sure. So I'm definitely looking forward to it. Yeah. I mean, I think we both agree this, you know, it's only March, but it's going to take a really special TV show to usurp The Last of Us as far as the best TV show of the year.
Right. Yep. And all they're going to need is just a girl built like an ox. They're going to need that. But yeah, I'm looking forward. I mean, I talked about it, that I had like a spiritual awakening to Part 2. It's not the day you finish the game. It's like, you know, it takes you like a little bit and then you're like, what did I just play? A good comment was made about Part 2 is that, like, you know, Part 2 compared to Part 1, Part 1 is like a nice game to play compared to Part 2. Part 2 is emotionally brutal. Like, it's such a brutal game to play.
Yeah.
And, you know, the thing like I said last week, or 2 weeks ago, the thing I'm most excited for is just to see Bella Ramsey's, like, kind of, you know, emergence as possibly one of the best TV actresses period, because what she was doing from episode like 6 to 9, I said just wait until she gets to play in the sandbox of Part 2, like where Ellie becomes the main character and, you know, has to have more of like a physical performance. I just think it's gonna be something to witness. So I can't wait for that. I can't wait for the camaraderie. I hope whoever they get to play Abby never touches any bit of social media. I think that's all for the best.
Yeah.
And I just want people to consume Part 2 for TV, and I think this is going to also benefit from people not playing the game even more for part 2.
I
think they're going to lean into spoilers. Hopefully you spoiler tag this part, because I don't want to go into part 2 without saying nothing, but ... Obviously, we know that the doctor from the end of season 1 or the end of the game was Abby's father. That's why she kills Joel. So I'm hoping that, we kind of... I think that's why it's going to be 2 seasons. I think they're going to lend more time to Abby. And, I think what Druckmann's going to understand this time is, we need... And obviously, it wasn't like a story pacing issue. It's a video game pacing issue. Because at the end of the day, I still have to kill zombies and kill people. That's just the video game NPC way of doing it. But, in a story of a TV show, you're probably going to need to give a little bit more time to people sympathizing with Abby. I think what season 2 might be is it might be, I think season 2, the way you could do it is have it be a dual Abby and Ellie season, and but still have Pedro Pascal for season 2, and then season 2 possibly could end with her killing Joel. I don't know how you play that off for a season finale, and then season 3 can just be Seattle. That's the entirety of season 3. It's 3 days with Ellie in Seattle, 3 days with Abby in Seattle, and then the season finale is maybe the penultimate episode is in the season finale. It's the showdown.
Yeah, I think that's totally spot on. I was thinking from the very beginning, when they were going to adapt part 2, it was never going to be hey, we're gonna kill Joel off in the first episode, keeping the pacing of the game. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think we're going to really, like I said, I think season 2 is really going to explore the kind of collapse of Joel and Ellie's relationship coming off of the lie at the end of season 1. So I think that's really what the core conflict of season 2 is going to be, is that straining of that relationship and Ellie kind of coming into her own as a person. And then, like you said, I think we're going to get a little bit of Abby sprinkled into there, and then I think it'll all culminate with that confrontation in the cabin. Is what I think is going to happen. But I mean, I'm for it. I'm for whatever this show does. They got me. So I have full faith in that team to deliver.
Yeah.
So we talked a little bit last week about the Zack Snyder mystery message, and we figured out what it is.
I had a feeling too. I had a feeling I should have just said it.
Yeah.
Did I say it?
You might have said it. Yeah.
Maybe we could find it, or go listen to that entire episode, and then you can find out. But
so he's more or less having his own kind of 3-day kind of celebration of his movies in the DCEU, a commentary on obviously Man of Steel, Batman vs Superman, and Zack Snyder's Justice League, and a little Q&A. I think it's cool. You know,
fun. Have fun. Have fun. Celebrate. We've both given our thoughts on. We reviewed go listen to the 3 episodes where we reviewed the whole Zack Snyder trilogy. But yeah, cool. That's gonna be fun. I'm not gonna be surprised. What he did. I think he did this a couple of years ago again, and that was when the internet broke, because that was the first sign that Henry Cavill could come back. But yeah, have some fun, bring some of the, the actors or some of your coworkers into the stream, and just have a good time for 3 days.
Yeah.
I tried to tell you guys it was nothing.
Yeah, it wasn't going to be
somehow Zack Snyder returned.
Right. It wasn't going to be any of those. So, like you said, it's cool that, he's still passionate, obviously, about these 3 movies, and, it's always, like you said, at the top, about kind of getting directors' thoughts on things. It's cool.
Yep.
He's always been pretty transparent about his movies, so it's cool that he's opening that forum up.
Yep, I love it, because at the end of the day, you can review as much as you want, you can have your thoughts, but that's still somebody's vision, and that's what I respect at the end of the day. At least they did one of the hardest things you can do in any sort of art form, and that's actually make the art. So, and then had to go through what he had to go through in his life too. I think it's incredible that he was even able to finish that last movie. So hats off to Zack Snyder. Thoughts aside, I'm very fond of him for just what he was able to do.
Yeah.
And I mean, what he was able to do, just make a movie. Just make some movies, man.
Yeah. So this Gladiator sequel is shaping up to be something special. And, no more special casting can, I guess, get announced these days than when Denzel Washington is attached to a project. So Denzel Washington has been approached and is more than likely confirmed to be in this Gladiator sequel.
Yeah, him and Ridley Scott getting back together too, from American Gangster. But man, I'm trying to rationalize this in universe. I mean, we could just talk about this is freaking cool. Like, like Denzel. It's just this prospect, and I talked about it during the Oscars episode, how, you know, we're talking a lot about Jonathan Majors right there. I think Paul Mescal, like, I think he's 33 or something like that. Like, he could also shape up to have, like, especially doing a project like this, getting, like, a Gladiator movie and getting Ridley Scott as somebody that directs you. Like, he already has an Oscar nomination under his belt. Like, he can have a very, very successful career, too, which I'm over the moon, like, excited to see what he's able to do. And I think, you know, getting directors to work with you, but also getting the actors to work with you too, is a big thing. So I'm glad that, you know, maybe Denzel's going to teach him a thing or two, and just I want to see him on the screen. I think Barry Keoghan too is somebody that's like should be on everybody's radar. I mean, he also has an Oscar nomination under his belt, and you know, we're starting to see this new wave. It's like sports right now. We're starting to see this new wave of actors kind of come in at like a fast rate, like all at the same time, it feels like. So I can't wait to see this. I think Ridley Scott I think he's trying to get like his couple last hurrahs in. How old is Ridley Scott? 91, turning 92 this year. Yeah. But he doesn't look to be slowing down. He looks incredible for being 91. I don't know if you've seen him recently, but he looks incredible for a 91-year-old. But I mean, between this Blade Runner 2099, like I just want to see everything this guy does over the next couple. I know he was super locked into what was that show he did on FX and Hulu? I forget what it was, but
what was that? I can't remember now.
I mean, you get Ridley Scott in any type of, you know, sci-fi fantasy / period piece, you're probably going to get something that's, you know, borderline incredible too. So I don't know. You know, when we talk about feeling and stuff, like I just have this sneaking suspicion this movie is going to go absolutely insane. I don't know what's happening, but it was when Barry Keoghan got announced. I was like, what's this movie cooking? Like, this movie's got some energy to it.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I mean, you get Denzel's one of those people that like it kind of makes you stop and look at the headline, like when you see Denzel cast in anything these days. So that's super exciting. And I
guess we could just keep going with, you know, movie news.
Yeah. So Jordan Peele's new movie, obviously Jordan Peele, one of the foremost, I guess you could say, directors kind of forging their own kind of stories.
It's getting to the point of like a Christopher Nolan, like where you're not doing a superhero movie or a Star Wars movie, and like people are going to go see your movie. Like that's where he's getting to. I mean, I don't think I think he's already there. Like, you know, you're going to probably agree with what I'm going to say, but like, I remember when Nope was going around, like it was one of those movies where like, all right, new Jordan Peele movie, we're out. So like people were like, or like regular people are talking about it. That's when you know you're becoming a household name too. Yeah. So I mean, you can't not feel happy for this guy that, like, you know, he's getting that modern day Hitchcock comparison, and I mean, I see it. Like he truthfully is like the king of horror right now, and you know how horror is becoming such this genre that's being sought after nowadays. Horror is kind of on a precipice right now. So I really can see him, you know, being one of those, like I'm talking like Jordan Peele, Christopher Nolan, like if these guys make movies and they're not superhero movies, people are going into the theater to see them no matter what.
Yeah, I totally agree.
You think it's going to be Christmas themed? I think that would be so amazing if this movie was like a Christmas
movie.
Oh my! I would love that.
That would be great. And
then the goat's back.
Yep.
Tarantino's back one last time. Man, this for now. So his show's still getting made. I'm pretty certain he's still making a show, but we found out that Tarantino's quote-unquote 10th and final film, The Movie Critic, will be hitting theaters in 2025, I believe. 2025. So, I mean, you can't say enough about it. It's just like, this is like watching like Kobe retire. Like, you don't want to see it, but like, I mean, one of the greatest American artors period of the modern age. So Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I mean, I talk about 2019, like Scorsese and Quentin Tarantino and Spike Lee all made movies, and it's like the same thing. Like I think all three of them are making movies within the next 2 years, if I'm not mistaken, too. So I can't. News making a new movie. Christopher Nolan. Cinema's healing. Greta Gerwig.
Yep.
Greta Gerwig's making a new movie. Oscar winner Greta Gerwig. So I cannot wait. I'm super excited. So here's the one more hurrah for Quentin. I know he's gonna go off in this movie. The movie critic. Oh, as soon as I heard the title, I was like, he's got something up his sleeve for this movie.
Oh, for sure.
Who's gonna be the star of this movie?
Who's gonna be the star?
Let it be Samuel L. Jackson for once. Let him star in the movie for once.
The last one.
The last one.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
He should get like everybody back that he can.
Yeah, it's just a who's who. Like, you got to get like
Uma Thurman.
Uma Thurman. Oh, Uma Thurman would be awesome. You got to get De Niro back.
Yep.
Got to get De Niro. You got to get Leo.
Christoph Waltz.
You got to get Jamie Foxx.
Travolta.
Man, you can't get Bruce Willis. Very unfortunate.
Yeah.
Very unfortunate. Because that would have been awesome if Bruce Willis were to cameo in that movie. But health is the most important thing. So yeah. Yeah, get an all-star squad back together, man.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
And then make Kill Bill 3. We're all asking for it. You already know you're supposed to cast Zendaya, and then you're supposed to cast, obviously, you're going to get Uma Thurman, you're going to get Maya Hawke, so.
The unfortunate thing about Jordan Peele going back to that is he's destined to get creamed by Avatar next year.
I think he's going to move that really. If my theory's right about being a Christmas movie, then it's not going to move, but if I think Jordan's going to move his movie. He'll probably move it into February if I were to bet. Maybe you could timestamp this and we can put it on a wall, and then once I'm right, we could just pull it off.
Did you
the
see
wall.
the Avatar thing?
What Avatar thing?
The rumored director's cut of Avatar 3.
Oh yeah, the 9-hour cut that's
going to hit Disney Plus.
I don't think it's going to happen.
I can't. That would be insane. I mean, I'd watch it.
Oh, what? Of course I'd watch that. I'd watch 50 hours of anything Avatar, especially after that second one. I watch anything Avatar.
We got an official story trailer for Star Wars Jedi Survivor.
Gas.
Man,
this game's gonna go crazy.
We got kind of like a timeline, so it's 5 years after the events of Fallen Order. Cal Kestis is sounding a bit more rugged.
Rugged. This isn't your grandfather's Cal Kestis anymore.
Yeah, he sounds way more mature.
Yeah, this is. Well, I mean, how old was he in the first game? He was like
probably in his
18,
early 20s, maybe.
I thought he was like 18
at the oldest.
Because how long was it in between then? And I thought it was like 5 years in between.
Yeah.
I think he was like 18 or something. Like, he was like a kid still, honestly. Like, I think it was like either like 18 to 21 he was. So, yeah, he's like in his mid-20s now. He's got
a little scruff going on.
He went from Jedi. He went from youngling to She Calls Me Jedi Master now. So, nice. Good on you, Cal Kestis. But yeah, Cameron Monaghan, he feels like he like owns this role now, and I just think the odds of him showing up in live action keep increasing and increasing and increasing, and I think they just want this game to come out. But man, I couldn't. It looks so good. Like, I saw the story trailer. I immediately started playing Fallen Order last night. I was just like, I gotta log some time on this game. But the combat looks so smooth. The villain choices, even down, because I don't know why prompted me to do it. I put on I played Ghost of Tsushima for like 30 minutes last night, and I think it was because of like the new hilt, like the new lightsaber hilt styles that they're doing. So it's like actual stances too, which is a really cool addition to the game. Going to make the combat a little bit more, You
get a gun?
Get a gun now. So, and that's one of the stances you get, like your lightsaber bullet, like a gun combination in there. So a blaster, man.
Yeah.
God. This guy doesn't even watch Star Wars.
No, a regular gun.
Just you just get a Beretta. Oh, nice.
Yeah, I mean, I think, for video games and movies too, but like all great sequels kind of just take the formula and expand upon it. I mean, God of War Ragnarok did that. Horizon Forbidden West did that, and presumably Spider-Man 2 is also going to do that. I mean,
Miles Morales did that.
Miles Morales already did it, and then Spider-Man 2 is going to kind of even develop that further. So I think this is the right way to go. Definitely leaning into that Ghost of Tsushima stance kind of model, where you kind of got to be a little analytical when it comes to like what type of enemy you're fighting will dictate what stance you use, because I guess that was one of my minor critiques of the first one, is nothing really felt necessary outside of like the base stance. Like, I never really, really felt like incentivized to go into like the double bladed thing.
I think the other way, but still, to your point, like, I feel like once you got the double blade, like, I didn't need to worry about anything after that. Like, I felt like that was just like, why would I ever use the single blade when I could just use the double blade at all times? But yeah, like I said, the combat looks super smooth. I believe how they said it was going to go is that 10-minute little IGN thing that they did, that planet's going to be like a hub, so it's going to be a little bit more open world this time, like a hub where you're going to go to shops and stuff like that. So instead of being as linear as the last game, so I wonder what planets I think Coruscant's in this game, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so. Yeah, I think you're right.
Anytime you can get Coruscant in any Star Wars project, you do it.
Yeah.
It's like the LA of Star Wars.
So that's coming out next month. Obviously it was supposed to come out this month, but
I missed my chance to get that collector's edition with the lightsaber.
But got pushed back, so next month is going to be a good time for for Star Wars. And then the last bit of news before we talk about Shazam. So Theo Rossi has been cast in the Penguin spinoff. We talked about Clancy Brown being cast in that last week, and he fits right in.
Exactly. He fits right. Well, if you guys don't know who we're talking about, Shades from Luke Cage. Yep.
He's also, I believe, played other gangster type roles.
Oh, you're telling me he's being typecast?
I think he might be.
He needs a rom-com. He needs a one dosage of a rom-com ASAP.
Yeah, he was in Sons of Anarchy.
Oh man, he's fitting the mold too, huh?
So yeah, yeah. I mean, I think it's good casting. I think, like I said, he fits right in.
It was like having the twins in the Batman. Like they just fit in. They fit in. You got the right guy.
Yeah, the show is shaping up to be probably pretty good, pretty fun,
pretty cool. Yeah,
it's gonna be like a Gotham crime drama.
But
basically.
HBO usually doesn't miss.
Like we've been talking about. Yeah.
So
not just HBO, but HBO DC. You know what I mean? Like Matt Reeves' Batman averse. So
you think that he's gonna show up?
Batman?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
I think he might show up in this show and just do a little cameo. That's it. Have him just stand there, maybe. And the beauty about it is, I know they're shooting right now, but you got a little time to shoot, and they're probably going to... When are they shooting the Batman? I think they're shooting it later this year, if I'm not mistaken. So, you got a little time maybe to throw him in there. Just show, like, hey, Gotham's still underwater, but, like, the Batman can still perch on, like, on a gargoyle, so... You're Robert Pattinson from Twilight.
No, come on, man.
No, my bad.
He beat those allegations.
You're Robert Pattinson from A24's Good Time.
And where does a penguin thrive most, but if not around the water?
Come on, man. Come on, man. We're better than this.
No, we're not. So let's talk about Shazam.
Captain Marvel.
No. Nope.
But they said it in the movie.
They did say it in the movie. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, it's not a big spoiler.
So just a few quick things off the top. Obviously, a sequel to the 2019 movie, as we talked about. As with pretty much every superhero movie that's been released in the last 5 years, divided amongst critics and audience reception. Critics don't like this as much as they like the first one.
Sure, and I mean, just base reactions right now, I'm inclined to agree, but I'm going to get into that because I think we agree that the first Shazam movie, for lack of a better term, is kind of special. Like, they hit some beats that...
Lightning in a bottle, you might say?
Yeah, lightning in a bottle is a good way to put it. Come on, man. we aren't better than this, actually. I thought we were. I am, personally, but I don't know about you. But, yeah, that first movie, I love the kind of, like, there's, like, small sects of, like, an indie feel in that first movie, and a lot of that comes down to David F. Sandberg behind the lens. And just even down to character bits, like a pretty emotional movie. A great movie about not having crappy, found parents, not having crappy foster parents.
Yeah, it's a great found family movie.
Found family, and, like, even going deeper into that, like, vice versa, the relationship with his mother being dealt with, like, that was a tough scene, like, a scene I wasn't expecting out of a superhero movie, too. Like, that's one of the best scenes in that. It was that, and then leading into him having that final jump off the building, Shazam, I'm like, wow, this movie's actually, I'm really enjoying this movie.
And I think that's what this movie was kind of missing. It touched it a little bit in the third act that we'll probably talk about, but not enough for my liking.
And I think it might be because somebody's not in the movie for too long, and that's Asher Angel's not in this movie for too long.
an alarming kind of.
He's in this movie's 2 hours 3 minutes, I think, something like that. He's only in this movie for like 10 minutes, maybe 15.
Is he in it the fewest amount of all
kids?
the kids?
Oh yeah, he's in it the fewest amongst the kids.
That's crazy. What a crazy decision. It's because he's not the star of the movie.
Well, yeah, right. And the star of the movie is Zachary Levi, and he's fine.
Yeah, he's good, but I mentioned to you off air, it made sense in the first one that like there isn't as much of a split between Billy and Shazam. But in this, there seems, for what little we do see of Asher Angel, there seems to be like a tonal split between how Asher Angel goes about his scenes and how Zachary Levi is portraying Shazam.
Yeah, well, I told you how I take that is in the first one, it's almost like, it's this foster kid that's being bounced around, so he has to feel like an adult. So it's kind of like, once he's Shazam, he can finally put the guard of, having to be this tough, rugged, new teenager away, and now he can be the kid that he wasn't able to be for those years. But, like, I just feel like it's a little less forgivable in this movie, and I gotta think a little bit of that might have been Zachary Levi just trying to be, as funny as possible. But I think this movie's still funny. Like, this movie's got a lot of great comedy bits, but there's some times where it's a bit jarring. But I mean, I actually do quite like the third act of it. Like, the last piece of the third act battle, I thought was pretty. In terms of spoiler alert, your sky beamish third act, that's probably one of the
Sky
Dome-ish. Like, that's probably one of the better. Like, I say it with Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi, like, I always say this, has probably one of the most forgivable big CGI third acts, because it just turns into an anime at the end when he's running on the dragon, and I'm like, this is freaking awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, Zachary, to me, he's fine. He's cool.
Yeah, I mean, he's taking the character in that direction that was kind of established in the first one and kind of just doubled down on it. And I don't think that's anyone's fault. I just think that's what they've decided to do with the character. We talk about all the time how these movies take these characters and put their own kind of spins on them. I mean, Iron Man obviously being one of the most notable examples of this, where the film kind of takes a little bit of character liberty, because Shazam in the comics and in other extended media is not overly goofy like this.
No, I mean, it's even, I'm going to pull from Jim Kruger's Justice, kind of how that story's structured, and, the characters are structured. I mean, you look at that 60s way of thinking about superheroes. Shazam is supposed to, like, Shazam looks at Superman and it's just like, all right, I'm that, but I'm also a kid. So, like, there's a balance in between. I just feel like it's leaning a little bit too much of like a 13-year-old kid, but not an 8th. Like, he's going to be 18 in a few months in this movie. Like, it does. And Asher Angel, it doesn't help the case. Like, I think Asher Angel probably has two of the best emotional scenes in this movie, and like, and then and then it turns into Zachary Levi, and it doesn't feel like the same. Doesn't feel like the same
character anymore.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing. Is in the first one, it still sort of felt like the same character, whereas in this, they felt like two totally different characters. Right. But real quick, before we dive into kind of what we thought about it, it's getting absolutely slaughtered at the box office.
It's really, let's just put this in the context. I saw Creed on the Friday, and that Creed theater had some people in it. It was pretty decent for like a non-fandom movie. I mean, it's still Rocky, but for like a non-superhero or Star Wars movie, there were people in that theater. We were in the big IMAX theater. We talk about kind of, where we live in like the area. It's pretty, like, people will like, if there's a big superhero movie, like even Ant-Man, people will be in that theater. There was like 20, maybe 20 people in that theater.
Yeah. It's underperforming the first movie. By quite a bit.
Yeah.
I think it made $30-some-odd million.
Jeez.
That's
and that movie was cost $100 million to make. Like, this is going to be, especially going into the Flash movie, that's a atrocious loss. Like, it's really...
Yeah, it's rough.
Yeah.
We've detailed Warner Brothers before, a production company that can't really afford losses like this right
especially now. Like, it's like, that's where I'm really concerned now.
Yeah, so... Yeah, it's rough, and I guess the other thing we could talk about is the inherent drama surrounding this movie, and particularly as it relates to Black Adam, because obviously, I mean, you and I think we both talked about after Black Adam, like the logical next step would be for them to fight each other.
The logical next step would have been for them to fight. The step that probably would have put the DCEU back together for a little bit probably would have been the just do what that animated movie did and have Shazam and Superman get Henry Cavill back and have imagine the three of them in a movie together. That was like, you know, Black Adam versus Shazam. Like that movie would have performed.
Could probably been pretty good.
Pretty good. Would have performed at the box office. I don't think Zack Snyder's doing another DC movie again, but whoever you get to direct it, but here's where the manipulation comes into play, and this is where The Rock comes into play. The Rock came in and was just like, I'm not fighting Zachary Lee. I'm sorry, I'm not fighting Zach. I'm not a villain. I guarantee you some of them, like, you know, because I guarantee you these big studios for these projects they probably have their guys that are like the lore guys. They're like, no, you're like a C-list villain. Like you're gonna have. He's like, no, I'm Dwayne The Rock Johnson. I'm not doing that. I'm gonna have my own movie. And now the DCEU's probably gone. Like, it is gone now. It's gone.
Yeah. So Dwayne Johnson reportedly vetoed a cameo appearance by Zachary Levi in the Black Adam, one of the Black Adam post-credit scenes. That was supposed. Well, I guess we'll talk about it in spoilers. That was supposed to set up what this movie sets up with Shazam and the Justice Society, and The Rock was like, nope. Not interested.
It's crazy.
Zachary Levi quasi confirmed this by kind of quote storying the story.
Been having some rants Zachary Levi's also been having.
Yeah, it's very, I mean, you talked about the promotion for this movie before we hopped on. Just very, very. We thought the Flash had a tumultuous,
and it's like, and like I said, it's like why would you do this before the movie comes out?
Yeah.
Like, this isn't going to get anybody to want to watch the movie. Like, this is going to get people even playing into what we're talking about right now that are probably not going to, like, I've seen big streamers and big YouTubers saying, like, they're not going to go out of it. Like, people that cover this stuff for a living saying they're not going to see this movie opening weekend, which is crazy. This is like a big DC superhero movie, and like people like
and the first movie was good.
First movie was good. Yes, that's why it's even more frustrating. So.
Yeah, man, it's just super. I told you every DC movie seems to be accompanied by some sort of drama, and I don't understand it. And hopefully, once the Flash comes out, we can turn the page on some different things. But let's talk about this movie first and foremost. Did you expect this to be the Freddie Freeman show?
A little bit, yeah.
That's kind of what this was.
Yeah, so this, I mean, it's very central. I mean, you get Rachel Zegler, so that's a grand get for a movie. And then, you know, Jack Dylan Grazer, he's like, I guarantee once he's like in his like
they trapped a young adult romance story into this superhero movie.
And I was fine with it.
Yeah, me too. I thought they were both really great together.
Yeah, their chemistry was real great. Like, what is it about like superhero movies? Like when they trap a little like John Hughes in it, like they get good.
Yeah.
So I don't. The bits of that usually play off well. So yeah, I think he was probably one of my favorite parts of this movie. He was fun. You could tell he's having fun. I think he's somebody that's got a career to look out for too. He's definitely one of those actors that it's gonna be like once he's like in his mid-20s, like he's gonna start being in like a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
And I mean he's already worked with some pretty big directors at this point in his career too. So I think the sky's the limit for somebody like him. But he's also great in promotion. Like he's a kid or a guy you want on the promotional run, and it's just weird it's weird how they marketed this movie, man. Like I would have just made him, and again, if Asher Angel's the other side of it, and he's like. It's like he's not even there. It's
so strange.
It's crazy.
It's so strange because, you know, we'll talk about it, I guess, when we talk about spoilers. Like, he does have kind of a really kind of emotional moment at the end of this movie. Mm-hmm. And like, he's in this movie for so little that, like, I'm surprised anytime he's on screen. I'm like, oh, it's regular Billy Batson.
Holy crap, you're still here. Like...
And it's weird because, like, one of the kind of caveats to this movie, one of the contrivances is all the kids get depowered at one point. So it's weird that all the kids are interacting with Shazam as kids, and Shazam's still an adult person because he's the only one who doesn't get depowered.
Yep.
So that's a little jarring. You mentioned Rachel Zegler. She's good in this.
She's good.
She plays kind of the, I guess you could say, like the good guy villain.
Good guy villain, yeah, the villain, change of heart. Oh, whoa, there's actually a spectrum of this.
Yeah.
There's the baddest of bad, there's the middle, and then there's her.
And the baddest of bad is not who you might think it is.
Yeah, it isn't. If you had your bingo card on somebody, you're wrong. And that's somebody, and I guess we could just go right into that, is Helen Mirren said yes to a superhero movie.
And she's great.
Yeah, man.
You could tell she was having a tremendous time doing this movie.
Now I wish this movie wasn't performing like this, because she truthfully like gave it her all, and now this is even more frustrating.
Yes, the legend Helen Mirren. I remember, because we've been doing this podcast long enough now that we've witnessed kind of like an entire production cycle. Mm-hmm. Like, I remember distinctly talking about her being cast in this movie, and us being like,
well, excuse, like, what are you doing? And then her and Lucy
Liu, yeah,
said yes, and we were like, what are y'all doing?
Yeah, Helen Mirren, man. And she's like in it. Like, it's not like who was it that was cast in Aquaman as the Kraken, and everyone was like, huh? Like, she's in this.
Yeah, she's in this.
But Helen Mirren is in this.
She's physical.
Yes,
she does some physical acting, and I'm like, wait a minute, that you're Helen Mirren from the movies. Yeah, you're Helen Mirren from cinema.
Yeah, it was Julie Andrews that did. The Kraken and Aquaman, yep. And everyone was like, Julie Andrews.
Yep.
But no, Helen Mirren is in this, and she's in it quite a bit.
Yep.
A very kind of, you'd think like Shazam. Thinking about the first one, and obviously it has those like emotional undertones, but it's, you know, it's a fun, lighthearted. She does some horrifying things in this movie, especially in the, I guess we could talk about the opening sequence where people get turned to dust.
Yep.
People get turned to stone, and it's a really horrifying sequence, and I'm like, oh.
That opening sequence had a little juice to it, and I love when we watch movies together now, because like, I love when things surprise us. Like, this happened in Avatar a couple times. We were like, is this cinema? Like, are we watching some... But it was like from like a writing lens, not like from... Because obviously we knew. And then the visual still had us like, holy crap. Yeah. But then it was just like emotional bits in Avatar. We were like...
Why so blue?
Why so... No, not that one. Not that one. Man, when I tell you, I was just like, wait a minute. He's just doing the speech again. That's crazy. Like, in Avatar, when he said, I see you, I was like... Wait a minute.
Yeah, this opening to Shazam was like, wait a minute.
It's brutal. Like, it's like
pretty brutal.
It's
yeah,
physical. Like, I think what David F. Sandberg does well is like he gets a lot of physicality out of like these villains, and like physicality out of like these action set pieces that still feel gimmicky and still feel comic booky, which I think is a nice balance to have. Like, we'll get to the fight in the middle, because that fight surprised the heck out of me. I was like, Helen Mirren's doing she's fighting. She's doing the boxing.
Yeah.
So.
I guess we shouldn't be surprised that opening sequence in the museum is kind of like quasi horrifying, because obviously David S. Sandberg comes from a horror background.
There are some horror bits in here.
Yeah.
Like when the MacGuffin happens in the third act.
Yeah. It's unsettling.
But then there's product placement.
I mean,
it was like Power Rangers 2017 level.
It's not that bad.
That was the greatest product placement in cinema history, actually. There's actually never been anything like that.
The Krispy Kreme in the Power Rangers is man.
It's under the Krispy Kreme. It's under the what?
There's a little bit of that, like, villain not understanding lingo also in this, with Helen Mirren with the Gatorade.
Oh yeah, that's a good bit. That's a funny bit.
Who else is good in this movie? Grace Kelly Curry. Mm-hmm. She's pulling double duty now as Mary, both cool child and adult.
I like that because she's. That would be kind of cool. Is like once you turn 18, you're just the person now. You don't need the double. So, because how old is she? She's probably like 19 or something.
Yeah, she's older than something Bill.
Like that.
It's her and Billy are the oldest.
And then I think Freddie's only like a couple months younger than Billy, because they're in the same grade. So
yeah.
Man, they're seniors now. Time flies.
Yeah, and she's good in this as like kind of they talk about it. It was kind of one of the moments I liked in this movie where Shazam kind of comes to like the terms with like I don't know what I'm doing.
Okay, so this is one thing that I have about this movie that I think this movie like narratively would have been a little bit better, and I'm talking like, you know, thematically wise, is I don't think this movie knew which theme it was trying to attack at many points.
That's
because
fair.
I think that might be the biggest gripe I have with the writing is like, I think there's times where like, all right, we're gonna talk about our theme is going to be Billy's gonna age out, he's trying to keep the family together, and then that didn't happen for long, and then it just got into the Shazamming, and then that was all the movie start, and then the movie was just like, all right, plot device, you know, exposition, this is who the daughters of Atlas are, and then it kind of like went away. And then it got to that scene, that really great scene at the end. I was just like, but where was this for the entire second act of the movie? Like, it felt like it kind of disappeared through there. Like, obviously there's bits, Freddy gets taken, like all these things happen, but I feel like it doesn't hone in on that. Like, if you hone in on that thing solely, then you're not as narratively confused.
Yeah, I agree with that. And yeah, I mean, I think that idea that he feels, you know, not to borrow a Thorism, but he doesn't feel worthy of this tremendous power that he's been given, is an interesting idea, and one that the movie kind of wrestles with through I guess I could call him my surprise MVP in this movie. Jimon Hansu just kind of takes this movie over whenever he's involved. He's great in this as the wizard, the wizard character.
That's his name, the wizard. I wish his name was like Dan. That would be hilarious.
He's great in this.
You can tell he's having a little. Diamond Hansu's having a little fun. He gets to do a little bit more.
Yeah.
So
got to do a lot more.
He had a buddy cop relationship with Freddy. Wasn't on my bingo card either.
No, there's a lot of this movie that I kind of wasn't expecting. And then, you know, your other cast of Shazam characters they're all pretty good in this.
Yeah. All the kids are fun. The parents are in it much less than the last, or maybe the same. Maybe I'm overthinking it, but I think they're in it maybe the same, but they get a little bit more to do in this movie, and I mean more to do by Drive the Van. And then his mom gives that just great. Oh man, I felt like that was like one of those things where like, all right, we're gonna do some acting. Like they walked on set and they were like, "You guys mind if we do a little acting today?" And then we were like, "That's fine." And then like that scene was incepted, and I was just like, this is actually like a nice little scene that we're having. Like I actually really appreciated that they threw something like that in. But again, that was another piece of it, like Freddy himself and his mom, like, because you can tell there was some tension between them, but it was never really explored. But like, if you're gonna have the tension, like what about his dad? Like why was it specifically his mom? And I think you can put two and two together as logic. Like obviously he was scared the same situation with his mom was gonna happen with his new mom. That's probably why like Rosa herself was getting a little bit more of the cold shoulder than his foster father. But we can. You want to talk about the plot of this movie?
Yeah. What is the plot of this movie? So the Shazams.
Yeah, the Shazams.
They're heroes in Philadelphia. They're like a team.
Yep.
And they're okay at it.
Yeah, they're not great. Why aren't they? I feel like they're not great because they're just. I mean, what's told to us is like they're not on the same page. Like everybody's kind of off, like doing their own. Like Freddy specifically is the one that wants to be his own hero.
Adam Brody,
wants to step out onto his own and be the people's champion, and he wants to put the Shazams behind him.
Yeah, and I mean it's what would happen if a group of kids all got the powers of basically Superman.
Right. Which this movie, which is one of the big plot points is that like these kids got the power of the gods.
Yeah.
You took my dad's power, jerks.
That's basically what happened.
That's actually Helen Mirren's character perfectly summed up.
Yeah, so Helen Mirren's Hespera and Lucy Liu's Calypso are not happy with the Shazams.
Mm-hmm. They're like, what the heck, bros? Can I have my dad's powers back? And they're like, no.
Atlas was the best.
Was he?
Nope.
Atlas sucks.
Carrying a globe on his back.
Yeah. Why don't you carry this L?
That was ultimately his L. Was carrying that globe.
You're right.
He had to hold up the world forever.
Yeah. Anybody want to take a shift? Now we're good, man. You got it, Atlas.
Man, Helen Mirren's in this.
Mm-hmm.
So it's basically a revenge plot. They want to. They put the staff back together from the first one. That's Shazam snapped in half, and they're like, we're gonna go get these kids, but also we have to get this apple because we need to plant a new tree of life because the gods locked us away,
and they stripped all the power, like all the magic out of that realm,
the godly realm.
Yeah, the god realm. Good job, Shazam. Lord.
Meanwhile, Billy's wrestling with this idea, like you mentioned earlier, that he is about to age out, but he wants to keep his family together. But all these kids kind of have, Mary and Freddie especially have kind of these different ambitions.
Yeah, Mary just wants to go to college and just live a normal life, essentially, for all intents and purposes. And Freddie wants to be like his own Superman. And I mean, for Freddie's character, that makes sense, especially off the last movie, because he has such an affinity for these, new age superheroes that were popping up, and he turned into such a big fan. And then, he gets the powers to be one of them. So obviously he's got main character energy and main character syndrome. So he's just like, all right, well, I'm going to be him. I'm him.
He is him until he's not him. Until he meets Rachel Zegler.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he meets this girl, Anne, and obviously
young adult
romance.
Yeah.
They immediately are just like they exchange eyes, and Freddie, he's kind of, he does have con man energy about him that I have to appreciate. And they get to talking, and then big twist.
Yeah.
Big twist.
Anne, your name's Anne. He said, just wait till you meet our third sister, Anthena. And Billy's like, ah.
I do like that he pieced that together.
Yeah.
And he was like, I knew it. So Rachel Zegler is the third sister, the third daughter of Atlas. She has like warping reality manipulating powers.
Axis manipulation.
Yeah, because all three of them basically have the powers of fundamental forces of the universe, basically. So Helen Mirren controls the elements, Rachel Zegler controls the Axis, and then Calypso controls chaos.
Yeah.
And she's chaotic.
Which is apparently a fundamental aspect of the
universe.
Which, I mean, makes sense for Dr. Fate if he's a Lord of Order.
Yeah. Order and chaos. See?
It's all connected.
It is all connected.
But then The Rock stepped in and said, absolutely not. If I see Zachary Levi within 1,000 feet of this place, I'm gonna lose it.
Yeah, so
if I see any of those Shazam kids, they're getting kicked in the head. Get these guys off set.
Lucy Liu had that same exact energy for this.
Oh my,
yeah,
if I see any of those Shazam kids, you're getting kicked in the head.
So yeah, they strip Freddy of his powers very quickly.
Very quickly.
And you can already the Rachel Zegler babyface turn is pretty apparent. Like like she's like not gonna be on board with them. Like throughout the whole movie, you're just waiting for her to like act on it.
Yeah, I'll tell you the one that I guess we could talk about. The one we weren't expecting. Now let's save it.
Yeah, we'll save it. So Freddy gets kidnapped.
Council meeting. Shazam family council meeting. Freddy's kidnapped. Crap. And they're like, all right, how do we find this guy? And then they're running a muckus in Philadelphia. They're like, bring me Freddy, and then we'll give you Helen Mirren. Well, they have a fight before that.
Yeah,
the best fight of the movie outside of the end of the third act.
Well, also, I guess we could talk about the Wizard a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Because the Wizard's supposed to be dead.
Yeah, he's not, because Diamond Hansu signed a multi-deal contract for this franchise.
And then, probably my favorite moment in this entire movie, Shazam's dreaming of going on a date with Wonder Woman. And they do the what they did with Superman in the first one, where it's just body down. And
that's all I think about. I just think this kid's dreaming or whatever.
Yeah. And then
insane to do this.
The Wizard's Billy Batson, and then it's Diamond Hansu's face superimposed on Wonder Woman's body for like 5 minutes while he's having this conversation, and he's basically saying like, Shazam, Billy Batson, I should have never given you these powers. What was I thinking? You're a kid, and something really spooky is going to happen. Concerning beware the Ides of March, beware the daughters of Atlas. Yep. And Billy's like, that was weird. I don't know what that was supposed to mean at all. And then they do some research. One of the Shazam kids found a library with a magic book.
Yep, and a magic pen. that writes. So the magic pen writes whatever you need it to write, and it gives you any information in the entire multiverse. So, well, they asked this pen the dumb kid questions, and then they were just like, the letter's hilarious. I'm sorry. That letter was funny.
Oh, yeah.
Because Helen Mirren's an actual good actress, right? So, like, her reading this dialogue is just wild.
Because they're kids, so, like, they're trying to transcribe this letter of, like, negotiation with the Daughters of Atlas, but they're all chiming in at different points, but, like, we don't see them writing the letter. We just get Helen Mirren reading what they wrote, and it's pretty great. Mm-hmm. And, yeah, there's talk of Gatorade.
What is the Gatorade?
Is it a weapon? The comedy is pretty good in this, I will say. The comedy is very good. And, so they negotiate. They come to terms to meet at a cheesesteak place in Philadelphia.
Well, what they do before is they put a dome down. So Helen Mirren puts the dome down. She's just like, all right, well, Philadelphia is closed off. Philadelphia is closed for business. Quarantine. Uh-oh. Quarantine zone Philadelphia is. So Philadelphia is domed off. They're like, crap, this isn't good. So that happens, and then they have their little meeting, and then the people of the city are saying, look, and this is something I'll say too, what I think David F. Sandberg also gets right in this movie is making Philadelphia feel, it's like Raimi levels of making the people feel like actual, like, people.
Yeah.
And, like, NPC-ish people instead of, like, just things that are running around, like, actual, like, people that are alive reacting to crap. Like, it's funny that they're both horror directors and they know how to do this too, so maybe there's I think there is correlation in that too.
Probably, yeah. And,
But, like, the people of the city, like, hate them, and they're just like, I love the interaction he has with that guy in front of the cheesesteak stand. He's just like, when are we gonna get this dome off of here? He's like, I'm working on it, man. I'm about to have a meeting. He's just like,
he's like, yeah, sure you do.
Yeah, sure you do.
But he does. He meets with Helen Mirren, and he's like, look, I'll give me Freddy, and I'll give you my powers.
Mm-hmm. And then Helen Mirren has a great monologue about, like, she's like an actual good actress.
Yeah, she's
I don't know if you guys know that.
She's like, she really loves throwing a child in there. Like, you child. You don't. Boy. There's a lot of that thrown around. She's very, like, evil queenish.
You don't know. She said, what if your father was like, what if everything you know was taken away from you and given to somebody that didn't deserve it?
Yeah, and he's like, well, you really goofed up, lady.
Because I've seen every Fast and Furious movie.
And then we get a brawl.
I wonder if they saw the ones with Black Adam in there.
Probably not.
Probably skipped those.
And then we get a brawl.
Those probably aren't canon in the DCEU.
Right. We get a brawl between the Shazam family and the Daughters of Atlas, and this is where we...
God. I just wasn't expecting it to be like this.
It's physical, man.
It is physical. The wire works pretty solid, I talked about this, like, there's just one little bit, and, like, obviously my opinions changed drastically on Wonder Woman 84, but, like, look, movie's not good, Wonder Woman 84. There's just this small bit where, like, she's running down the street in DC after Steve Trevor, obviously, goes back to being dead, and it's just like seeing practical power is pretty cool. So, like, just them, like, she's just lifting them up, and, like, they're just like WWE throwing each other through, like, just like in this warehouse is just, it's nuts. And, like, I love the 1-up thing that she does, like, where, like, Billy, like, you know, Bane-esque throws her on the ground, and then she goes right back to him and picks him up, and I'm like, is this cool? This is kind of cool.
Yeah, you get to see kind of her use her powers a little bit, and then you realize, like, oh, they formulated this strategy to take her, to take Hespera back to their lair, because they figured she obviously wasn't going to negotiate, so take her, exchange her for Freddy, bingo bongo, done. But Helen Mirren, however, was one step ahead, and she planned to get. It's the old Joker routine from The Dark Knight. She planned to get imprisoned.
So she gets in prison. She breaks out immediately, and they're like,
because she was looking. They were looking for this golden apple. The golden apple that.
Oh no, a MacGuffin.
Yep.
Crap.
They can plant seeds for a new tree of life, and that's what they're after. The wizard's like, it's in the most safe location. I like this bit too.
Yeah.
When the wizard's like, the most safe location known to man.
And then Freddy's like, ah.
And then they see Helen Mirren walk out of the door with the apple, and he's like, I thought you said it was in the safe. And they both go at the same time. Billy Batson.
Oh man, he's like throwing the apple around in the scene before, just like tossing it up to himself. I'm like, God.
So she's got the apple, and then this is where the rift forms in the Daughters of Atlas, because Helen Mirren's character Hespera is very like on mission.
About the plan, like about
the actual
like
plan, yeah,
right. And then Rachel Zegler's and Theo is more of like she's the good one. She's just like, and well, the counter to that, Helen Mirren breaks out, but she's more of like, you know what, Freddie, I love you.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna help you guys get out of here because they're gonna destroy your world, and I don't think that's cool.
Yeah, and Helen Mirren is like, yeah, we got the apple. We're just gonna plant a new tree of life here, and then we're gonna get our powers back, and it's gonna be great. And Lucy Liu's like, but what if we destroyed Earth instead?
Like, you see Earth? Earth kind of sucks. So what if we just blew it up or something?
Yeah, so she wants to plant the oh man, they're doing the world engine again.
What did I say? It's just it's the same thing. They're just remixing it.
We're terraforming the Earth again. Yeah. So yeah, they're
Zod's Lucy Liu.
So Lucy Liu's plan is to plant the tree of life in Earth in Philadelphia of all places at Citizens Bank Park.
Poor Bryce Harper had to go through just losing a championship, and now the whole stadium's gone.
Not the Phillies.
Not the Phillies.
Yeah. So and Helen Mirren Hespera's like, that's not the plan.
And then
Lucy Liu's like, but what if it was the plan?
What if it was the plan, though? And Rachel Zegler's like, I love Freddie Freeman.
And then we get to the third act. Obviously, it's time for a big dust up, big superhero dust up.
While this is happening, and then I love the bit with the staff too, because they're right before the third act, they're just like, all right. They got the staff in the beginning of the movie, and then the wizard finally he gets back to Earth with Freddy. They break out because of Rachel Zegler's character lets them out. They meet back up with the Shazam crew. She's got the staff, and she's turning them back into just their regular forms. They can't transform. They did it to Freddy early in the movie, and then the wizard's just like, there's only one thing that could do that. And again, it's like Billy Batson. My God. They were like, what'd you do with the staff? He's just like, I didn't do anything with the staff.
I broke it in half and then left it there.
You left it there? What was I supposed to do with it? God.
And then, we get to this. We talked about this like emotional reckoning of this movie where Billy's really questioning himself. He's like, you're right, wizard. I suck.
Yeah.
I'm the worst.
Yeah. Well, again, thematically, some things are they don't know what to focus on, because one of the big themes was the idea of the wisdom of Solomon, of Solo Man.
Solo Man.
So, right, that was like a big, commentary for them was like, what is the wisdom of Solomon? Like, because they knew everything is told to you. Like, they were like, and the thing was like, and I think they should have focused on a little bit more was Mary. Like, I think this movie probably could have been.
Well, because the magic pen like underlines everything, and then Paul Rudd showed up, and he was like, "Oh, it's an acronym. Yeah. It's an acronym.
It's an acronym.
Oh, Shazam.
Yeah,
it's an acronym."
But yeah, like that was the big thing was like it was Mary. Like they were. Yeah. I think they should have played into a little bit. I think they should have had their family, like Pedro, Darla, like. I think they should have had this idea where, like, they wanted maybe Mary to be the leader of them instead of Billy. Maybe that would have been a solid narrative, too, of, like, even lending more to the fact that, like, Billy's not ready for this. But, and then what would have been good if, like, they got into a situation where, like, Mary didn't know what to do. She's just like, I know I'm the older sister. I don't know what to do. Like, that, I think, would have been something to kind of hammer home a little bit harder.
Yeah. And then, so... And then the wizard kind of gives Billy like a pep talk.
It's not the wisdom of your mind, because you are an idiot, Billy Batson. It's the wisdom of your heart, because no matter what happens, you know what to do.
Yeah.
Good job.
Then they high-fived.
Yeah, they didn't high-five. It would have been funny if the wizard high-fived him, but...
And then, so...
the scene. And then the scene happens.
Well, they have to formulate a plan
to
stop the Daughters of Atlas.
Before this happens, the parents find out that they're... What did they call them in the movie? The parody name for them?
Oh, this is like the Doom? No.
The Doom Patrol. Just kidding.
I can't remember. It was something that related to
the something disasters or something like that.
Oh, yeah, the disaster group or crew or whatever.
Whatever it is. The Wrecking Crew. Nope, that's not it. You're the Wrecking Crew from Marvel Comics. But yeah, so before this happens, the parents find out. Pedro comes out and in a hilarious scene, and they pull an arrow again. Yeah. He said, we're the whatevers. He said, I'm gay, buddy, we know. They did it again.
Yeah, but it's cool that they have they do scenes like that.
Yep.
When they have like the gay character coming out, whatever, and everyone's just like on board, like like we know, like it's
in the
fine.
movie. He's just like, I love baseball. We know why you love baseball. But and then they get to this. So the parents know. The parents are the doomsday's upon them because now they're like, what if we turn this? What if we turn like Calypso is whatever her name is. Lucy Liu's just like, all right, I'm the main villain now. I was in a Tarantino movie. I'm the main villain now. So she's just like, all right, well now we're gonna unleash all the monsters upon this realm. Monsters are scary.
Yeah, Lucy Liu takes the dragon over to Earth, the big dragon, laid on the guardian of the forest, guardian of the garden, that like
guards the tree of life. Well, guarded the
tree of life and instills like paralyzes you with fear. And then she takes that dragon over, and then she gets the apple back. She immediately depowers everybody again. Besides Mary and Billy. Yep.
And then obviously she's on the dragon. She's on one. She's on one now. So they have there's a pretty solid scene. So what's happening is, they're on the rooftop. They have that scene where he's talking about the wisdom of Solomon, what it actually means to Billy. And then Billy's mom is just like, or Rose is just like, Billy, you mind if I see you real quick? And then she's just like, yeah, like, that's okay. And she's just like, we're never going to let you go, right? Like, again, like, you are my son now. I know what your mom did to you, but I would never do that to you in a million years.
Does Asher Angel qualify for He-Check performance? Because he's not in the movie that long?
Just wait until we get into the categories. Just wait. I got some tricks on my sleeve for that one.
Yeah. It's a really touching, great scene. Where, like, I do like that a lot, where she's like, I want to see, like, you. And then he, like, depowered, like, he transforms, like, in front of her. And they have, like, this real moment. Yeah. That you're like, whoa, this is a moment. Yeah. A moment is happening.
Right. And then it's on. Third act, it's on. The Shazam kids are depowered, but, they have a really good scene because then Mary goes up to try to confront Calypso. And then, is it Calypso?
Yeah.
Okay. Is it?
Yes.
Okay. I don't think it is.
It is Calypso.
Okay, it probably is, but I don't know why it's sounding off. But yeah, she goes to confront her. She gets depowered midair, and then, Billy goes and saves her, and then it's on. It's on.
And then before it's on, the Daughters of Atlas argue again, and then Lucy Liu's like, well, because Hespera's like, I've had enough of this.
Yeah, like what are we doing? Like
this is dumb.
This is stupid. Like, we can just go back and
look what's happening. Like, you planted this tree.
Well, and Thea's just like, their world's dying, and then like Hespera's just like, well, I don't care. Like, I kind of care, but like more like, this is pointless. Like, this doesn't matter. Let's just go back.
The tree sucks.
Yeah, like, the kids don't have the power anymore. We have the staff. We have the tree. Like, why are we doing any of this? And
the tree sucks on Earth. Like, the tree's supposed to be this beautiful green lush.
Doesn't belong here.
It sucks. Look at it. It sucks. All the monsters that you created suck. They're all mean and evil. Like, what is this? And then Lucy Liu's like, I've had enough of this, and the dragon stabs Hespera. And you're like, whoa!
Yeah, I was like, holy crap. Not like this, Helen Mirren.
Straight impales Helen Mirren, and you're like,
crap.
You can't kill Helen Mirren.
Yep, and then she depowers Anthea. So
she tries to use like her access powers to like portal herself.
Which she does, she gets away, but then the staff's magic's too powerful, cuts right through that, depowers her.
And she's like, oh no, my hands.
Yeah, my hand magic's gone.
My hands don't work anymore. Which was a little like comic book goofy that like she knew she was depowered and then tried to use her powers again. Like afterwards, she's like,
and then I don't know why I'm thinking about this. Launched into what I think is a pretty cool scene, just down to the way that he shot. Like, I feel like, like in these big studio movies where like, when the studio's like, all right, this needs to happen, this is the thing.
Yeah.
And then there's the scenes where like the notable director does the thing. I don't know why that scene between Rachel Zegler's character and Freddy's character like felt like David Sandberg's like, all right, can I direct a scene? You guys mind? And like felt like this. I don't know why I keep thinking of this. It felt like an I Am Legend when they're on the bridge scene, like because everybody's trying to get out of there, and then the dragon shows up, and I'm like, there's like handheld camera work, and I'm like, wait,
Freddy's got that dog at him.
Yeah. Heck yeah, he does. So
he does two things of note. As just regular Freddy, he resists Calypso's chaos control.
Yeah, yep.
Which everyone seems surprised
Well,
by.
I mean, that's a big piece for Freddy's arc in this movie, that, like, it's not the fact that you turn into this. It's just, like, she tries to tell him it's you. Like,
you're the hero.
You're the hero.
So he resists Calypso's, like, chaos control, and then he resists the dragon.
Which is, like, the most immense fear that anybody would ever feel ever. And, like, he resisted it, and, like, because what happens is, like, that happens, and then you get burned alive, and, like, he stood right up to it, so.
Yeah, and then Shazam obviously steps in, grabs the dragon's tail, and he's like, all right.
Yeah.
It's go time.
Yeah, this isn't called Freddie Freeman in the Fury of the Gods. You know whose movie this is.
Yeah, it's go time.
It's go time.
So, basically, what happens is they concoct this plan to destroy the tree, but by destroying the tree, you level the city.
Right.
So Shazam finds Hespera, and he's like, "Are you dead? You can't be dead.
Yeah,
you're the best.
Yeah,
you're the worst, but you're also the best.
Yeah, you're Helen Mirren from acting." She's just like, you know what? My sister's crazy now.
Yeah. So he asks Hespera to basically shrink the dome down to just a couple blocks.
Yep.
Because the dome is, like, impenetrable. Like, nothing can break it.
Right.
So you shrink the dome down, you explode the tree.
Now it's just above Citizens Bank Park.
Yeah, so it levels Citizens Bank Park, and it also will kill Calypso, the dragon,
whoever's inside,
and Billy.
Yep.
Because Billy traps himself in the dome. He shrinks it down. Well, Helen Mirren shrinks it down. And then, we get this really kind of touching moment right before the big final battle where they're like, hey, man, like, you're not supposed to be
in there. And Freddy's like, yes, I am. Like, this is what I was meant to do. Like, you guys can go on without me, but I gotta, like, for me, myself, to become this hero that I'm supposed to be, like, because the big thing for him, for Billy's arc is, again, it's imposter syndrome. Yeah, he's suffering immensely from it. So he's like, this is it. Like, this is my Superman going through the world engine, or my Wonder Woman taking on Ares. Like, this is my thing that I have to do.
My Superman stabbing Doomsday.
Come on,
stabbing himself.
Yeah.
It's my Batman.
You can't tell me that world engine scene wasn't awesome.
It was awesome.
It's
the Batman flying a nuke into the ocean from The Dark Knight Rises.
Bruce Wayne. Never change, Gary Oldman. Never change.
Then we get a really cool sequence of events here with Shazam, and when you realize, like, oh,
He's a god?
Yeah, he's powerful as hell.
Yeah, he's like an actual god.
Like, the lightning is swirling around him, and I'm like...
Well, his plan is to overload the
staff.
The staff, and then the staff is going to...
explode the tree.
Right, and then the tree is going to explode the dome. And then everybody dies.
But, it's really cool. It's very dark. It's shot pretty dark.
Yep.
So you're basically just getting the light off the lightning as it's swirling throughout the dome, and it's really cool looking. Like, I really liked it a lot.
Again, like, the way it's crafted is pretty well done for a superhero movie's third act. Like, I think it's on the better half of, like, looking pretty decent. The fighting looks pretty, I mean, obviously they're gods, but pretty plausible for that kind of thought process. So I think they did a good job with it. So shout out to David F. Sandberg. David F. Sandberg kills himself in this movie. It's always funny when directors do that. I think he was doing a pretty solid job. So and then he does it. He overloads the system. Overloads the system, and his plan works. And then they get in there, and then Helen Mirren dies. And the thing for Hesper is, like, as long as I'm breathing, like, the dome's gonna stay alive, and I don't got a lot of breaths left, so you better make this count. So she does it. He takes out Calypso. And
she dies. The dragon dies.
The name's Calypso?
Yes.
Okay.
So Calypso dies. The dragon dies. Hesper dies, and then they go to find Billy, and
Jack Dylan Grazer started doing some acting in this scene. You're not supposed to be. This is the part where you just scare me right back, Billy, right? And then I think we both had the same reaction. I'm like, did they actually just do it? Like, did they just kill Shazam? And I was like, wait a minute, they did kill Shazam. And, like,
we get a proper funeral.
Well, he does the thing. He yells Shazam to do the final overload, and then blows the whole thing up. And I'm like, oh man. And then he's just Billy, and it's like, yeah, Billy's gone. And I was like, end. Like, I was just like, this movie needs to end, I think. Like, I think that needs to be it.
Yeah, man, what a swing.
Yeah, what a swing to kill Billy would have been. It's what they should have done with maybe Superman. They did do it with Superman.
And then we get a funeral. Funeral for Billy at the godly God realm.
They do the Avengers Endgame. Nah, I'm kidding. Go ahead. All the superheroes is compared to just the wizard standing there. That's it.
And they're just like, man, if only we had...
There's no more magic left.
Yeah, the staff is out of magic. There's no more magic. It would need a god's kind of...
Yeah, there's a god needs to wield it. God!
Yeah, so Wonder Woman shows up.
Yep, Gal Gadot's in this movie, which they couldn't wait a week just to not spoil it.
Yeah.
She's not in the movie that they're in, though. She's in this movie, but she's not in the same thing that they filmed, that the other actors filmed, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, so she shows up, and she's like, maybe I can be some of assistance. And she repowers the staff, powers the Tree of Life, and we get the Evil Dead hand through the grave.
He couldn't help himself. He couldn't help himself.
Billy's back. He's alive. And he's like, you guys buried me after like 10 minutes?
It's been a lot longer than 10 minutes, bud.
And then, yeah, all's well that ends well. Everyone gets their powers back.
Freddy gets the girl.
Yep, Freddy gets the girl. She gets her powers back.
The wizard gets a makeover.
And
Billy gets to stay.
Yep. Yeah. And then...
happily ever after.
Yeah.
And that's Shazam! Fury of the Gods.
And then we get some post-credit scenes.
What's the... let's talk about the second one first.
Yeah, okay.
Because the first one's the more important one, so... and the more controversial one, I guess.
The second post-credit scene is... So Savannah's back.
I love you explained it the best after we walked out of the theater. It's just an SNL skit at this point, and I wish they made a million Shazam movies just so they could do this every time.
It's basically the same as the first movie. Savannah's in prison, and then the weird worm, Mr. Mind, shows up, and Savannah's like, finally, you're back.
What's the plan? He's just like, I've been concocting this plan for years. We're going to take over the entire world. And he's just like, it's been 5 years since the last time I saw you. He's got like a handlebar mustache now.
He's been drawn like all over the walls.
Yep.
Like kills Shazam, basically. And then Mr. Mind goes, but there's one more thing I need to do. And then he leaves again.
And that's it. And I thought something was going to happen. That was it. That's the post-credit scene.
It's so good.
Have that be the post-credit scene every single... Now I hope the Shazam gets like 6 movies, and then they just do it every movie.
It's so good.
Savannah's just been in this movie? Nah.
No, because you need him for this bit.
Yeah, that's all this is at this point, is just a bit.
You need this bit at the end.
Right. So that's that.
It's so good.
The first post-credit scene, the more important one. Alright, so car pulls up, boots start walking out of the car, and the camera pans up. You're dye-beard and James Gunn's wife from Peacemaker, aren't you?
Yeah, so Harcourt and Economist are, I guess, like the Nick Fury of the combined Nick Fury of this.
Yeah, they're like Nick Fury and Black Widow pre-Avengers.
Yeah, this universe. And they're talking about like, all right, we got to get this guy. He's got to be in the group. Yada yada. He's a little immature, but he's strong as hell. It's Shazam.
Yep.
They find Zachary Levi shooting lightning at bottles, and they're like, "Hey,
yeah,
Billy Batson." And he's like, "No, I'm not."
We know, dude.
Yeah.
Why'd you put my dad in prison? Oh, sorry, wrong thing. My bad.
And then they go, "How would you like to be a member of it?" He's like, "Yes."
He's like the Justice. He's like, "Yep, I'm in. I get to date Wonder Woman. I get to hang out with my best, like with my idol Superman. Like I got everything I need in this." And then she's just like, the Justice Society. He's like, "Oh, I'm good off that."
Yeah.
Personally.
So yeah.
Imagine if this universe was still a thing.
So Shazam is offered a spot in the Justice Society.
Yeah.
Which we obviously saw in Black Adam.
Yep.
So
interesting. I think it's reactionary, and I mean, if the lore was stronger, and this is the Rock issue because he does not. I guess he didn't want anything to do with Zachary Levi. I don't know why, or Shazam, even though he wouldn't be an existing character if it weren't for Shazam. this could have had more play. Like I probably would have given everybody a cooler reaction if it was just like, if honestly too, if it was like, instead of the two of them as well, like if it would have been like
Hawkman.
Yeah, exactly. If it would have been Hawkman to be the one that found him, if this was like a true universe, and then like we said,
why are hardcore economists doing?
Well, I mean, they're like you said, they're like the but
it would have made more sense
if it was Hawkman. Yeah, if it was Hawkman, that was just like, and you made an incredible point. Like if this universe was still going, like if the Justice Society was like the first team, like, and that was like the more notable team, that would have been an interesting play. If like in the DCEU, if like the Justice Society was the good team and like the Justice League were just these like guys that just did these things unsanctioned. Yeah. Like that would have been kind of interesting. Much what I think the Thunderbolts and the Avengers are going to turn into. Like the Thunderbolts are like the world's team and the Avengers are like, you guys are yesterday's news. Yeah. So yeah, Shazam is never going to be a member of the Justice Society because that movie's never going to happen, even though, I mean, we said the best part of Black Adam was the Justice Society, so.
Yeah. I mean, who knows? Maybe they'll do something with it in the future.
They can't keep this DCEU going, right?
No. Absolutely not. Unless the only thing I can think of is, like, they retroactively, like, retcon this scene to be, like, after the Flash. Like, after the universe gets, like, reset. And Shazam is just a member of the Justice Society, and that's just what this is now.
Right.
That's the only way I can see that.
Yeah. The only thing is, like, if you think like comic things, like, the only reason like Shazam looks like that is because of Superman. Like he's thinking of like what he thinks of like is the prototype, which is Superman. So
yeah.
But yeah, that's Shazam: Fury of the Gods.
Let's give out some awards.
Yeah, that's my favorite part of the show.
So I guess we could just start with our favorite action sequence.
It's I don't know why, but it's that warehouse sequence where Helen Mirren's just throwing all of them around like rag dolls.
It's pretty great.
Like a WWE match. It's awesome. I love it.
I think I just wanted a spot to talk about the unicorns.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about what else was like the
monsters,
the B plot of the third act.
We got some good looking creatures in this.
Yeah, solid. Yeah, the $100 million budget. Like, there's times in this movie where it's just like the modern day. Like, I'm talking like 2021 after way of looking at superhero movies, like no budget and like it looks cheap. And then there were some spots where it's like this movie looks pretty good for $100 million budget.
Yeah, we had some Cyclops, we had some Minotaurs, we had some Harpies, we had the unicorns.
We had Furies.
We had Furies, and we had the king of
the gods,
king of the beasts, the unicorn.
Yeah,
and I love the greatest
Chekhov's gun in any superhero movie is Darla doing a report on how unicorns. Who was it? Unicorns took out Genghis Khan. Little did they know she was right.
Yeah, no, like she's like unicorns are awesome, and the wizard's like no.
The wizard's like, did you just say unicorns? And then the greatest product placement since the 2017 Power Rangers movie is the what's the thing? What do you call it?
The ambrosia.
Yeah, the ambrosia. They're like
nectar of the gods.
Well, I think it was Freddy's just like, I don't know if you know this. There's no ambrosia to be found. She's just like, we just need something sweet. She's just like, I got it. And then Skittles just like, you guys got any room for any product placement? We're like, boy, do we? Yeah. We're gonna call you. So yeah.
So she gives the unicorns the Skittles, and then the unicorns run roughshod through the beasts. Yep. But I also do like the extended fight between Shazam and Calypso. I think it looks pretty good.
Yep.
In a lot of instances where it could have looked way worse.
Yep.
And got Shazam doing Shazam things.
Yep.
Best source material callback. Are we gonna have the same one?
Source material callback. You go. I mean,
they call him Captain Marvel.
Yeah, I mean, but more importantly, who calls him Captain Marvel?
Yeah, the original Shazam. Billy Batson actor from the 70s is in this and
dressed like Billy Batson.
How
much do they pay him to dress like that, man?
And they call him Captain Marvel. Not his official name, but I was like, raised my eyebrows and I'm like, whoa. I didn't realize they could get away with that. But they do eventually. The wizard calls him Shazam at the end of the movie. They're like, hey man, what's my name?
What is my favorite source material callback in this movie. Because, I mean, the God part... I mean, if I'm going to go roundabout, maybe it's this idea of, like, maybe Atlas said no, like, thinking, like, retroactively about, like, Zack Snyder's Justice League, and, like, one of the cooler parts of that movie was that fight that they had against Darkseid the first time. Like, maybe Atlas was like, I'm good, and Zeus was just like, come on, man. What's their relationship? What are they to each other?
Well, Atlas is a Titan.
Right, and
so Titans waged war on the Greek gods.
Right. So yeah,
so that's why Atlas carries that was his punishment for the Titans.
Right,
the war against the gods.
We should do this every week. You should just give lore on Greek mythology every week, and we go from there. But yeah, that might just using like that thought process might be my favorite logic. Is just like, where was Atlas during the time that Darkseid game? Like, where were they? Like, they easily could have helped Darkseid. Oh, Calypso would have helped Darkseid. She would have been like, actually, Earth does suck. I bet her and Granny Goodness would have been best friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. Our fan favorite award, the best NPC. I already have mine.
Is it the woman?
It's the woman on the bridge.
Yeah, the woman on the bridge is great. Not the second woman that's in the car.
No. The first woman.
Yes.
She's like, oh my God!
It's like Sam Raimi-esque of keeping the city alive.
Yeah.
Good job, David F. Sandberg.
She's great. She's just that. It's between. Well, you go ahead, and then I'll say my runner-up.
Who's my favorite NPC in this movie? Maybe it's the twins. Or do they have too much character in them? Or the brothers in the beginning?
No, they're good. That's fine.
Oh, it's the teacher. It's the teacher that comes and saves Freddy and then kills himself.
Dude. That was dark.
Yeah. Because, like, it's a superhero movie, so it's just like, oh, somebody's gonna catch him. And then nobody catches him. And I'm like, did you just introduce this character to immediately be killed? And he's like, yep. Yeah, that's my favorite NPC in this movie. I
was gonna also say the guy at the cheesesteak shop.
Oh yeah.
Shazam! What are you gonna do about this?
What are you gonna do about this dome? He's just like, I'm working on it. He's just like, I bet you are.
But yeah, that woman on the bridge.
Mm-hmm. It's peak superhero NPC.
Yeah, you said the Raimi movie is the perfect example. Like the bridge scene in Spider-Man 2, like the same exact.
You know who also had some good NPC energy? As like those Fantastic Four movies.
Yes.
Had some solid.
Oh yeah, majorly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Favorite line? Or just a dialogue exchange?
Man, that's a good one. You go first.
Billy and his mom.
Yeah.
When he says, I love you, Mom, and he calls her Mom, dude.
Yep.
Talk about earned, and I guess we could talk about Asher Angel now. Like, why wasn't this guy...
No. Save it.
Okay, we'll save it.
Save it.
I'm saving it. But yeah, that scene was like... I was like, whoa. Like, don't make me feel things, Shazam.
Yep. Mine is Freddy to him, like... Freddy, like, this is the part where you're supposed to wake up, right? Like, this is the part where you're supposed to scare me. He's just like, Billy, not like this. Like, you can't go out like this. Like, that whole little sequence that Jack Dylan Grazer was given, I was just like, man, he's reactionary acting. It's great.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Best exposition dump?
How can it not be the deep fake wizard for Wonder Woman? The daughters of Atlas are coming. Oh, it's great.
Billy Batson.
Oh, my favorite line should have been whenever the wizard called Freddy Jeff. That's actually my favorite lines in this movie.
What was going on? That relationship is great.
That's a new category we need to add. Greatest relationship nobody thought was going to be in the movie.
And like how like when he actually calls him Freddie Freeman,
mm-hmm.
He's like, "You called me by my name," and he's like, "I did." Oh man, favorite shot.
It's probably him holding the... So I got two. So it's him silhouetted from the lightning in that third act. And then just like, obviously shot doesn't necessarily mean frame. So it's just it's that bit of like that handheld bit where Freddy takes on the dragon. Like that whole like sequence, they go into like that underpass piece, and I was just like, is this movie making? Wait a minute, he's doing the movie making.
Yeah,
that they talk about.
Yeah, I like the shot of him in the stadium. It's just like talk about like what you want out of these superhero movies when it comes to like sequences or scenes or shots is like, you know, when the hero looks like they're most powerful or like, you know, in their most like comic bookness, like think of, you know, Thor in Infinity War, like when he lands in Wakanda, like that's one of the most iconic superhero movie moments ever. You know what I mean? When you think about like Iron Man in Iron Man 1 when he walks away from the tank and it's the over the shoulder of him walking away from the tank, like that was Shazam's kind of moment like that.
What about the Fantastic Four looking in that hole in Four Stick?
Come on, man. Don't bring me back there.
It's fantastic. What did you say that again? God.
They kind of did that in this.
Oh, they did do that in this. Oh, no.
He's like, you never gave me my name. He's like, say the word, Billy.
Say the word.
That's your name. Shazam. Oh,
it's an acronym. It's an acronym.
Get out of here, Paul Rudd.
Jay, you're better than this, Kang. You're better than this, Kang. You don't have to deal with this crap. You talk to ants. And then he got washed by some ants. What are we doing?
I'm Kang.
I am Kang.
And?
Ant?
Hank Pym was like, and?
No, Hank Pym was like, ant. God.
I like ants.
What do you want me to do? Hank Pym turned into a god. That was crazy. The ant god.
The ant god.
Most powerful MCU characters. It's like the oneable of all, Galactus, Hank Pym when ants are involved.
He did like in Game of Thrones when the Night King's looking at Jon Snow, and he does this, and then all the zombies rise up. That was Hank Pym at the end of Quantumania, and he was just like,
what were those weird zooms they were doing? This isn't an Ant-Man episode.
No, it's not. Favorite world building or lore moment?
The post-credit scene.
Shazam being in the Justice Society.
Mary having to go off to college. I don't know. It's tough on this one because the lore isn't specific because these the villains were made for this movie.
Yeah, that's true.
And there wasn't a lot of like DCEU world building.
Should I do Can I do like the antithesis of lore?
Go ahead.
The fact that the wizard didn't want to mention Black Adam to Shazam, even though the wizard gave Black Adam his powers also. The same wizard.
Man, maybe I might watch Black Adam tonight just to refresh.
Like when the wizard was like, "I made a mistake giving Billy Batson powers." I would argue you made a mistake giving Teth Adam powers.
Well, he didn't give he didn't give Teth Adam the powers.
But you think he would have learned?
What's it with? Well, is it because kids are more pure of hearts than adults are?
Yeah, pretty much. But you'd think he would have mentioned it.
What Disney Channel logic is that?
Power of friendship. The power of found family.
That's what James Gunn wrote his whole career on.
And then we'll go favorite performance.
3, 2, 1.
Asher Angel. Yes, in 7 minutes.
Get this guy in the movie more. What are you thinking?
The guy like, how are you both a minor and major character at the same
time in your own movie that's not your own movie? I feel bad. I truthfully feel bad.
I do too.
I feel like, give him a movie. Give him one of them rom-coms that Netflix be handing out to Noah Centineo all the time. Give him one of those. Get him one of those. He'll be good in that.
Yeah, because you can't replace Zachary Levi. So you can't make him Shazam.
Well, I mean, I don't know if you know this, but everybody's getting replaced.
Yeah, because like I feel like he could do a Shazam.
You think he can play Shazam?
Yeah.
How tall is he?
I don't know.
I think he's kind of short. Not that means anything.
Never stops Wolverine.
Yeah. Well, that's different. Well, it's like, that's actually the inverse of the problem for Hugh Jackman. Hugh Jackman was too tall. Hugh Jackman, you're 6'3". But then he walked on set and said bub, and they're like,
Yeah. What do they call you? Wheels? I can't wait. When are we doing an X-Men episode?
I've been begging for the X-Men episode. Just on the first 3.
And Days of Future Past, because it's great.
The First Class is also
dope.
Great. the unsung hero of the X-Men franchise is First Class. Arguably,
Yeah.
what it very much. I mean, if you take Logan out of the equation, could be the best X-Men movie.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
You must have never watched X-Men Origins Wolverine. Remember when they were like, that movie was like getting the marketing, they were like, we're doing X-Men Origins for all the X-Men, and then that movie came out and they were like, we're not doing X-Men Origins for all the X-Men. See, that's a studio understanding that they messed up. Shout out to them to Fox for understanding at the time.
That's true. And also, like, I feel like they got like the roster of X-Men and they were like, Wolverine, great.
Cyclops. Oh, okay. Storm.
I don't think we needed an X-Men Origin Cyclops.
You could just Marvel. This is why Disney Plus is. Once the X-Men get into the MCU, it's probably gonna. That's exactly what you should use the one shots for. Are all those X-Men characters? It'd be like 45 minutes with Cyclops and Cyclops' origin is boring. Like, what's so bad about your powers? Just put the glasses on. That's it.
Yeah, just put the glasses on.
What happens when he has to wake up in the morning?
Ah! Every morning. He just lasers a hole through the ceiling.
Because he can't sleep with the glasses on or he's going to bend them. Or they're going to fall off.
Maybe he's got like an infrared, like, one of those like things, you know what I mean? But like it's an infrared one. The last thing, favorite character.
Freddy.
Yeah.
Freddy.
Fair.
Yeah. Has the most discernible arc in this movie. I mean, Shazam technically does, but like, I just think it's because Zachary Levi's performance is very familiar, is where I'm like, all right, it feels the same, so like, it doesn't really change. Like, for an arc, like, I feel like a big part of like an arc is like the performance has to match the arc too.
Yeah.
And I think that Freddy's matches that because like his whole thing is just like, the first movie was about, like, you know, him getting a brother that's essentially a superhero, so it's just like, now I'm like the sidekick, but now it's just like, I want to go out on my own. But it's just like, are you a hero because you're out on your own, or are you a hero because you're a hero? Like, is it like, once you turn into Captain Marvel Jr., like, are you a superhero because of that, or is Freddie Freeman the superhero? So... yeah, it's Freddy.
Yeah, I would probably agree with that.
He has the best camaraderie. Like, you can put Jack Dylan Grazer with anybody in the movie, and like he'll immediately, like, that's a test of a solid actor of when they can kind of accommodate any actor that's on screen.
Yeah, this was a good movie for just kind of characters. Like, I quite liked Hespera as a character. Like,
I wasn't like, both physically and emotionally was not expecting, like I said, Helen Mirren is far and away the best actor in this movie. Like, and I mean, like, actor resume in this movie.
And like, going in, you think like she's just gonna be like evil queen.
You think she's gonna do what Lucy Liu does?
Yeah, and
that's where I think the biggest surprise was for me. It was just like, if I were to give a second one out, it might be hers, because I was just like, are you kind of cool? Like, I think I just like, you're kind of cool.
Yeah. So I quite liked Hespera. Billy's just not Billy is just not in it enough.
He would have. I think it would have been that one if it was the case. So
yeah, he's just not in it enough. But overall, I quite like this movie.
Yeah,
fun.
I just think it was funny. I don't know why I had like this out of body experience as I was walking into the theater. I was like, I have no expectation for this movie at all. Like, usually, like, even down to the smaller, like, even Creed, I had a bit of an expectation once people started talking about, like, all right, he's directing it, we're getting these anime influences. Like, I had a little bit of, like, okay. And then, you know, I walked in this one, I was like, I have absolutely, like, good. Like, man, if they would have held the Wonder Woman thing a week, it would have been even more of, like, I don't know what to feel about any of this before I walk in, which is exactly what you want. That's what we used to have. Yeah. And I walked out and I was just like, I think I had some fun with that movie. I think there were bits where like David F. Sandberg got to direct the actual movie, and it stinks that there's no DCEU for this to keep going on into, because I think it's a fine follow up to the first Shazam. It just feels more of like in universe, like modern day superhero, like last couple of years superhero movie, but like still with a little bits and pieces of what made the first Shazam good.
Yeah. Second favorite performance, Wolf Blitzer.
So yeah, what do we see? So if Anderson Cooper's in the MCU, then Wolf Blitzer's in the DCEU. That's how it goes.
Yeah.
The antithesis.
Wolf Blitzer got to do a whole CNN monologue on a Greek museum.
Does that mean that Don Lemon has to be in the Star Wars universe?
Headline also, shout out CNN, headline Greek tragedy, question mark.
This movie was a Greek tragedy at the end of the day.
It was.
They should have played into the fact of like, I wish they would have maybe given some lines about Wonder Woman and like how she's
I said that when we walked out. Like, I think Wonder Woman
I think I said it like when we were out. I was just like, I think this movie probably should have just maybe, I don't know how you're gonna do this budget wise, but like maybe this should have been like a buddy cop movie between him. If they would have depowered all the kids in the first act and then Wonder Woman showed up, I think this movie would have been kind of cool if like, and then you give Gal Gadot like a last like hurrah as Wonder Woman.
Yeah, because it's surprising that like if she was around,
which she was, and this whole thing is like rooted in like the gods, and like presumably Zeus did this to Atlas. Mm-hmm. So right.
You think like Wonder Woman would tie into that a little bit more.
Mm-hmm. Of like, and it could have been like, all right, well, your dad did this to my dad. That would have been, oh my god, that would have been even better.
And then Kratos showed up.
Nope. Zeus! You're Gary Bertier from Remember the Titans, Zeus.
Zeus! The guy's so angry.
Oh, my bad. Thor. That's what I meant.
Yeah. The guy's so angry all the time.
Kratos truthfully has that dog in him.
But yeah, I thought this movie was fun. I think much like you, I didn't really have a ton of expectation. Like I liked the first Shazam movie, but I don't think that like had any influence on how I was thinking about this one.
Yeah, right.
Especially, you know, we've chronicled the the rise and fall of the DCEU, and this is kind of just an installment in a universe that we know isn't going to exist very soon. So like, and we've talked before, like their solo outings are pretty good more often than not. So this is just like another one of those.
You want to rank them? Ooh. While you were talking, I actually did rank all of the movies. What's the worst DCEU movie?
Suicide Squad.
Correct. And then after that, so all right, it's in order. If I'm not mistaken, it was Man of Steel was the first one, Batman vs Superman. I'm just gonna put Zack Snyder's Justice League. We don't need to talk about the original recipe, the Justice League. So, Man of Steel, Batman vs Superman, Wonder Woman. No, it was Justice League. No, it was Wonder Woman and then Justice League. So we'll just say Zack Snyder's Justice League, and then it was Aquaman, and then it was Shazam, and then it was Birds of Prey, Wonder Woman 84, The Suicide Squad, Black Adam, Shazam, Fury of the Gods. That's the DCEU. So mine is Suicide Squad, dead last. God. Release the haircut. Release these hands, man. You made Training Day, man. Just leave it at that. You got that. And then it's Wonder Woman 84.
Yep.
Sorry, it's Black Adam after that.
Yeah.
And then it's Aquaman. I think I like Shazam 2 a little bit better than Aquaman. Because like Aquaman's got fun bits, but like it's not a great movie. Like it's not a I just think Aquaman's just kind of fun. Like that movie's just I think that movie has a lot of dumb fun in it.
He did ride that Kraken.
Ah, crap. Is it better than Shazam 2? Oh no.
It also had Dolph Lundgren.
Crap, man. This ranking gets tougher. Stop hitting me with outside influences to make this movie better.
And an Ocean Master fight that was pretty good.
Oh no, the Ocean Master fight was awesome. That's one of the best fights in the DCEU between a hero and villain. Man. So why would you do that? Why would you do that? I'm gonna leave it for now because I there are bits in Shazam 2 that I quite enjoy.
Yeah.
I don't know why Helen Mirren just throwing them around is great, but it is. So I'll do Aquaman, then Shazam 2, and then I'm going to do Batman vs. Superman, and then it goes the Zack Snyder's Justice League. Then the first Shazam is 5th. Birds of Prey is 4. If you guys just don't think for a little bit and you go put on that movie as just the actual movie, that movie is freaking well made.
Yeah.
Those fight sequences are so good.
They're great.
Man, I don't care what you think. We've been through this, and I wanted to put this movie second, but I couldn't get straight up canceled. So, Man of Steel is third, Wonder Woman is second, and then obviously, The Suicide Squad is the best DCEU movie.
Yeah, my list is probably about the same. Just some shuffling in and out.
Well, obviously, you were going to put Wonder Woman 84 first.
Yeah,
because Pedro Pascal's in it. Life is good, but it can be better.
Damn,
what was that movie?
That movie's so disappointing.
We might have to talk about that movie.
Reluctantly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't...
I love the opening of that movie, too. I love the fact that it's just Wonder Woman 8, like Wonder Woman, when these movies let the characters do the thing in the first part, it's usually pretty solid. Like, it's a good choice to do in the sequel. Like, and even going further, like... You know, it was just that opening was like just well made. It immersed you in the 80s too. Like, I'm like, what happened in the rest of that movie?
I don't know. I think it was just, I don't know.
It's like they don't even feel like the same two movies. Like they feel like
they don't.
Drastically different.
The first one had this kind of like gravitas to it that was like
that was fitting for Wonder Woman.
Yeah, like this is more than
just a superhero movie. Yeah.
Yeah, like this movie is like important.
Mm-hmm. And the second one, and it started out that way, and I was like, this could be kind of cool.
Yeah, but it just wasn't. It was super disappointing. Man, we got one to go.
One to go. Two to go.
Two to go. I keep forgetting about Aquaman.
Me too. I'm surprised. Like this movie's still a thing.
Especially since, like, he's not going to be Aquaman anymore after this.
He's going to be Lobo.
Yeah.
Worst kept secret ever. Sorry.
Yeah. But, yeah, The Flash is the next... It's finally coming out.
It is coming out. What is the day? June what? July?
June 21st?
I don't know what we're going to do. We need this intern soon. We need the intern soon for June and July.
Yeah, man. It's going to be crazy.
It's fast approaching. We're almost out of March.
Yep.
We were just talking about the first episode of The Last of Us, and now it's almost April.
Yep.
And yeah, next week is going to be some John Wick action. We're going to switch it up a little bit.
Yeah, we're going to talk John Wick Chapter 4.
Yeah.
The best one?
People are just hot. I think this movie's getting comparisons to the way that, like, Mission Impossible Fallout was received. It's like, you're deep into the franchise, but, like... This might have the best action in the entire franchise. So
Keanu Reeves is fighting Donnie Yen. How can this movie not be good?
These movies are so cool.
That's basically, and I mean, we're getting on the Ghost of Tsushima hype train because Chad Stahelski is doing the Ghost of Tsushima film. So if this, if this works out, which it seems like it's going to,
yep, and
he keeps getting even more kind of like excited for the Ghost of Tsushima movie, especially off the success of The Last of Us. So, yeah.
Who do you think's going to play Jin Sakai?
I don't know.
Tom Cruise.
Lawrence Fishburne.
Oh, they should get what's his name? I think they should get Ken Watanabe to play Lord Shimura.
That's a good one.
Oh, that would be so cool.
I was saying
Jin.
I was either saying him or the guy that played his name escapes me right now. The guy who played Scorpion in Mortal Kombat.
Yep.
Yeah.
Both good choices. Both great choices. One of them should play Lord Shimura and one of them should play Sensei Ishikawa.
Yes!
Because he's a jerk.
He is a jerk.
He's the worst. He's the absolute worst. He couldn't keep his student from going off the rails.
How do you like the bow? Like it was made for me. It wasn't.
It wasn't.
But yeah, we're going to talk about John Wick next week, so that's fun. And that's it.
Yeah,
we're done here.
Yeah, we're done. Much like I thought happened to Billy Batson, we're done here. They should have left it. I think they should have killed him.
That would have been a hell of a move.
Checkmate, James Gunn. And then James Gunn like, well, I was already going to do this, so joke's on you, David.
I've actually already done it, technically.
Yeah.
Man. All right. Socials time. You can follow us on Twitter at ProjectINF_pod. You can follow us on Facebook. New episodes posted every Wednesday or Thursday, depending on the week. This one will be a Wednesday week. You can follow us on Instagram
at the Project Infinite Pod.
And, man, yeah, John Wick Chapter 4. All I like their titling for John Wick movies.
And the fact that these movies all take place in, a week of each other?
Yeah.
Like in days?
Also, we got Keanu Reeves and Lawrence Fishburne back together from The Matrix. So, that's always good.
You saw that Lawrence Fishburne forgot he was in the MCU?
Yeah. I mean, I guess I could see it. Because he's not really prevalent.
You know who didn't forget they were in the MCU? The Ant God himself.
I like ants.
I like... who's to say?
I like how he's just like... I don't know what to tell you. This is my character now.
God.
All right.
USA just hit a home run. We're only down 1.
Ooh.
Thank God. World Baseball Classic's been going on this whole time. March Madness been going on this whole time. Thanks, Purdue. God. You want to see some Fury of the Gods? You watch me during that Purdue game.
Oh, man. All right. For me...
Careful.
Why?
Because you could have called me the Wizard. Hollywood, can we cast Diamond Hansu? And so I don't care how you do it. Get him in the second Gladiator movie, Ridley Scott. I don't care how you do it. Get him in the movie.
I was going to say the Freddie Freeman of the podcast.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
That means I'm going to find the love of my life, and she's going to be a god on top of that.
That's the best case scenario.
That is the absolute best case scenario. Oh, that was the thing. I think they all should have lost their powers permanently besides Billy. I think they should have done that and just made them all normal again. But that's just, golden apples to oranges.
Okay.
We gotta go, man.
That's enough. Yeah, that's gonna do it for us this week. We'll see you next week for John Wick. I'm thinking I'm back. Whatever he said in that first one. Alright guys, we'll see you next week. Goodbye.
Shazam!
Oh! Okay.
I was waiting all week for that.
I'm on board with that. That's how you're gonna leave it?
Yeah, that's it.
Alright.